All right, Astro subscribers, welcome back to another video of the North Node and South Node of the Moon series. And today we're going to be doing North Node in Libra and the South Node in the sign of Aries. And for those of you who might not know, the North Node of the Moon is a planet that, well, it's more like a mathematical point, kind of how the ascendant is, but it has the same qualities as a planet in an astrology chart. And it's also called the ascending node or Rahu in the Vedic texts, the Vedic way of looking at astrology. And it represents sort of chronically unsatisfied and desirous thing. It's like a subpersonality of being chronically unsatisfied and desirous. It wants everything now. It is anxious. It wants to take the fastest path from A to B. It's very animalistic, materialistic. It's basically it's a reflection of Saturn, actually, in that Saturn is a planet that represents the subpersonality that says, I want this, but I'm willing to work for it. But Rahu says, I want this, and I'm actually not willing to work for it. I want it now, and I'm going to do whatever it takes, moral, immoral, whatever, to get it. It is, the best way I can describe it is kind of hunger. It's best described as hunger because when you want something and you're hungry for it, you want it then, and you're not going to worry about if you're really hungry, you're not going to worry about the law. You're just going to go and get the thing. So that's Rahu, and it represents the area of your development which is least developed. And then the south node of the moon is the opposite of Rahu, and it's also called the descending node or Ketu. And it is the area that you're really good at, and you don't actually need to put that much effort into it. It sort of happens on autopilot, and it's represented sort of like embodied knowledge, Zen knowledge that is in your bones. And if you try to access the K2 knowledge within you consciously, it will tend to backfire and sort of try to drag you away so that you can actually focus on the area where you're weak in your life and your consciousness. So they're always 180 degrees apart. They're always opposing each other in the sky. So they're always dealing on an axis of two opposing archetypes. So this time what we're going to be doing, this is the opposite of where we started from. We're doing Rahu in Libra and South Node in or Ketu in Aries. So these people are sort of, you could call them like hopeless romantics in many ways. They really have an idealized and confused image of love, in my experience. They are people who they seek out love in every place that they can find it, and they almost always I don't want to say they screw it up, because in a way they're kind of doing everything right, but that's the problem, is that they're doing everything right. Now I know that's confusing, so let me take a minute to explain it. So if you are consciously pursuing somebody, right? If you're like consciously trying to get into a relationship, and you're really trying, and you're not subtle at all, and you're just like going straight for them, maybe that will work, 1 in a million, right? But you can't actually like talk your way into love, or into a relationship even. What you have to do, generally speaking, is you have to be tactful, and you have to wait and be patient, wait for the right moment. But Rahu doesn't want to do that. Rahu wants everything now. So what you see is people who sort of become sort of simpy, and they'll like, now this is just if Rahu is like by itself, or if it's in like sort of a debilitated placement, like if it's with Mars, or if it's with like in the 4th house or something. But these people, they tend to not have a lot of self-confidence either, because Aries is self-confidence, and if you have personal drive and ambition. And if you have South Node in Aries, anytime you try to do things from a self-actualized perspective, it will tend to backfire on you. Now, if you remember from the first video we did on this channel, the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, those people, they were so good at sort of worming their way into relationships, and then when they got the relationship, they were like blind to the other person. They just were aloof, they didn't care, and they wanted to do everything their way because North Node was in Aries, so they had an abundance, probably too much personality. Now, when the tables are turned, these people, they are constantly like self-conscious, they're self-analyzing, they feel like they might not have a self or a personality. You know, anytime they try to express themselves, it sort of backfires, and anytime they try to assert themselves, they start feeling like awkward and shame and that kind of thing. And then with the North Node, they try to compensate for that by sort of trying to talk to other people, and then they feel awkward in that way too, because the other people are like, why is this person coming on so strong? Why do they want me now? Like, they come off as desperate. Like, is this person desperate? Like, why are they so anxious to love me? Like, why are they throwing themselves at me? And that's basically what this placement series does. Now, like I said in the beginning of this channel in one of the opening videos, that not all the placements are like particularly awesome. Like, some placements are just kind of negative, and they represent a hurdle, like a big hurdle. And if you can overcome the hurdle, it can be good. But if you obsess over the hurdle and you talk yourself into that this hurdle is impossible to overcome, then it probably will be. So just because somebody might have this placement, it does not mean that they're doomed. What they need to do really is they need to try to start trying to bring these two energies into alignment, into union, these two opposite energies. They need to consume a lot of media on like red pill, which is like Mars pill effectively, right? The red planet, and self-actualization and masculinity and all this stuff. They need to, this goes for girls too, but most of the people I've known with this placement are guys. They need to really try to embrace their self, their desires. They need to learn how to be tactful and not just like rush in and freak people out and like give them this vibe of like this really awkward person is just like running up to me and is like, hi, love me now. That would scare a lot of people because they don't know why you're so excited, like why you're idealizing these people, why you're idealizing your partner, that kind of thing. So you have to basically learn social skills. You have to learn to be tactful. You have to learn to sort of think on your feet and be witty and funny. And the good news is that Rahu is a very sort of emotionally anxious planet, but it's also highly intelligent. So if you can apply the intelligence of Rahu to learn and figure yourself out, then this can actually be a good placement, and try to act through your Venus placement. But if you if you just let this consume you and then you start getting bitter and vengeful about why are these people rejecting me, all I want to do is give them love, then that can be a very negative situation. So what you really should do is try to use the intelligence of Rahu to learn how to be an attractive person, as opposed to just letting your anxiety run wild and like cling to people in desperation, because I've seen that happen a lot. And I've also seen a lot of people just give up with this placement and just be like, well, I'll never get a girlfriend, fuck it, I just don't have any self-confidence. So don't do that. Just try to use your intelligence to learn about the placement, learn about yourself, use the other planets in your chart, and try to operate where you're strong as opposed to where you're weak. So that's basically how this placement works out. North Node in Libra and South Node in Aries. So yeah, I know that's kind of a negative prediction, but not everything in astrology is positive. Not all placements are good, and not all placements are bad. And ultimately, your free will and your level of input and your level of creativity and your level of effort is going to determine how these placements manifest in the final result of your life, whether they're good or bad. So yeah, that's how this works. And until next time, definitely check in next video. I'm going to be doing North Node in the sign of Scorpio and South Node in the sign of Taurus next. So yeah, check that out.